Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Produce Buzzers podcast. We are so happy you have joined us today, and I think you will be too after the show is over, because you will learn a lot about fresh fruits and vegetables, how to select and store them, how to prepare and cook them, and surprising facts about their history and origin. We hope it inspires you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, not only for your health, but also for your delight and pleasure as you explore their amazing world of taste and delicious flavors. Eating more of them will transform your life in so many positive ways. So settle back, relax, and get ready for another delicious adventure with the Produce Buzzers. Greetings, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, and welcome to another delicious episode of the Produce Buzzers podcast. I'm Edwin Stepp, your host and executive editor of ProduceBuzz.com. I'm joined once again by Teresa Nolan, the founder and president of Produce Buzz, along with Rick Stepp and Cynthia Benedetto, both contributing editors to Produce Buzz. Well, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, spring has arrived and spring vegetables are showing up in your local produce aisles now and have been for a few weeks. But this week is the sweetest week of the spring vegetable season. That is because this is the week that the sweetest onions in the world will be first shipped for the 2023 season. Yes, it's time for a fresh crop of Vidalia onions. I'm sure most of our listeners are aware of these amazing sweet onions from the state of Georgia. They are named for a small town in Georgia, which is at the center of the growing region for onions in the state. The region around Vidalia, Georgia, has a special soil, and that is the reason they have such a delicious, sweet flavor. So today we are going to celebrate Vidalia onions, and we have a very special guest joining us to tell us all about them. Delbert Bland and his family have been growing Vidalia onions for over 40 years, and the family farm has been in operation for over 70 years. They started with just 5 acres of the onions, but now are the largest producer of them in the region. From those humble origins, Delbert has grown the business into a nationwide and international farming success, with farms in Texas, California, Mexico, and even Peru. Delbert, thank you so much for joining us today on the show.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Great. Well, I know that Bland Farms goes back many decades. Tell us about your background and the history of Bland Farms.
Actually, I grew up here on the farm.
Great.
My father farmed when I was growing up, and we had a little small farm here, and I eventually went into business with him after I got out of school and started farming together. And then we farmed this row crop, corn and soybeans and stuff like that until we started planting, and we planted the 5 acres of onions in 1983.
Oh, okay.
So that's when the whole company kind of changed. It really evolved. We started planting onions about the time Vidalia onions started being known.
Oh, okay.
In other words, it kind of in the industry grew real fast, and so we had to grow fast with it to stay up with it. So that's how we got into it so fast, so quick.
Yeah, and you guys were instrumental in really pushing it out and expanding it, from what I've seen in the history of things. So
yeah.
But I read that the first time that they were discovered was in the 30s, right? Is that true?
Yes, I actually have been growing onions here for a very long time.
Yeah. And what makes them so special? Why are they so sweet and such great flavor?
Well, it's a combination of a couple things from what I understand. And one is there's some data that for a fact that we have a very low sulfur content in our soil here.
Low sulfur content, you said?
Low sulfur content, and we have low sulfur content in our water.
Oh, okay.
And so those two combinations, sulfur makes an onion hot. So those two combinations help make the onion mild and sweet.
That's very interesting.
So between that and then they say we have some type of ozone layer here that's conducive to sweetness of the onion too. So with those combinations and all of it together, it just happens to be that these onions grow really very, very sweet here.
Wow, that's like just a combination of several factors there, but in a pretty small region. It's really
Yes, it
interesting,
is.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's actually only 19 counties, which in Georgia is I don't know how many acres it is, but it's 19 counties is not that big of an area when you consider what we do here.
Right. And that's all in the southernmost part of Georgia, correct?
Yes, in the southeast part of Georgia.
Right, right. So how did the word begin to spread about these onions? What really got them going?
What really got them going was we had an article on the front page of the Wall Street Journal back in 83 or 4, somewhere along there, or 5. I don't remember the year, but it was an article about the war between the two towns about the name of the onion. And believe it or not, Glenville is the hometown I grew up in, which is not very far from here, which is about 20 miles south of Vidalia.
Okay.
Vidalia was the town that we had a local chain store, had a warehouse in Vidalia. And the chain store was Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, yeah, Piggly Wiggly.
And so actually the onions were grown in Glenville and carried to the warehouse in Piggly Wiggly, and then they would distribute them out to their stores. Okay. And people in the stores would say, gosh, these onions are very good. Where'd they come from?
Right.
And then the produce department would say, well, I don't know. The truck come out of Vidalia. So that's kind of how the name stuck.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And when the article come out, it said, we don't know if they'll call them Vidalia or Glenville sweet onions, but they're the caviar of all the onions in the world.
Oh, wow.
And it was really an impressive article, and it kind of hit then and it got going.
Right.
And actually, one thing we did early on was started running ads in the back of magazines for mail order. Oh. And we would sell 10 pounds and ship them to people for $12.95, I remember. And that really took off. We got up to where we were doing a huge amount of business through the mail. Mm. In turn, people, when they saw these ads in these magazines and all, and we did food editor articles. I mean, we did everything in the book to try to get our name out there. And when people would see those ads and all, they might not order them, but they would turn around and go to the grocery store and start asking for them.
Right.
And one thing led to another, and that's kind of how the popularity of them got going, is what they tell us.
Right, right. Well, that makes sense. The Wall Street Journal, international publication, big circulation, and you guys were out there. Did they just happen on that article, or did somebody there?
They just happened, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't remember the story. And
they said it was the war between the towns. What was the name of the other town?
Glenville.
Glenville. So how was the war resolved? Were there hard feelings?
No, really, not really. To me, I didn't care which one they called, as long as somebody would buy them. So,
I think Vidalia is much better.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a very unique name.
Yeah, right. That stucks. That's good.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I also read that there was a farmer's market there in Vidalia that was right at the junction of people going to Florida before interstates, I think, even.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it was after interstates, I don't know, but people traveling back and forth from the Northeast to Florida happened on them, and then is that true?
Oh yeah, very true. Yeah. People we used to sell like 25-pound bags of onions to the grocery stores. In other words, people would buy them in these local grocery stores and ship them and carry them home straight out of the grocery store.
Yeah. Wow.
And then roadside stands would sell them, and it traveled pretty fast.
Yeah.
When you have a good product and it's unique like that, but it's very few times do you see a commodity come along and actually add a category to the produce section.
Right. That's true.
And Vidalia created a sweet onion category in the produce section.
They were the first.
Yep. they were the first, and it stuck, and it's created a lot of business over the years.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the season a bit, because this week, in fact, today, this will air a few days after today. This is Monday, April 17th, but that's the official release date for Vidalia Onions. First, tell us about why you have a release date, and then about the general season for onions, for Vidalia Onions.
Well, actually, the release date is the date in which everybody used the name. And that's really a complicated issue, because it was a lot of discussion down here about whether we needed a release date or whether we didn't. So either way, that's what the guidelines we're working under now. So we vote, like committee gets together and votes on what date they feel like is the best date for everybody to start.
Right.
And so it happened to be the 17th this year is what we all agreed on.
What are the factors in you coming up with a date? What are the
Well,
factors?
typically it's the type of weather you have during the winter and what conditions you have. And when the onion gets to where it's fully mature is when you want to start harvesting. So it's mostly to do with the weather conditions.
Right. Okay.
But it always starts somewhere in the first to the 20th of April is when we'll start.
So if they're released today, meaning you can ship them today?
Yes, we can start shipping today.
Okay, then when were they harvested?
Well, they would have been harvested last week, first part of the last week. You harvest them, you plow up under them and cut the roots on them, and then you come behind it, and after they dry 2 or 3 days in the field, we use hand labor to harvest them. So they were all clipped by hand last week and then brought into the dryers. So you bring them into the dryers here to blow air through them, hot air, to get them crisp and dry.
Oh, okay. But you leave them in the field for how long?
2 or 3 days.
Yeah. I guess that depends on the weather too.
Yes,
how
absolutely.
hot it is, sun.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you use a plow to turn them over in the fields, and
you cut up on them, loosen the dirt.
And then the laborers come in and box them up or put them in bins and haul them off to the truck.
Clipping them, because you clip the top and the root off of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. So that's labor intensive.
Yes.
Now I've seen. Go ahead.
The deal don't last pretty quick. It don't last that long, really. We don't harvest fresh, but for about 6 weeks at the most.
Oh, that was my next question.
Run from now until about mid-May, but by mid-May we'll be through harvesting.
Okay. And then how long can they keep in storage?
Well, they're keeping storage all summer. So we begin to ship fresh now, and then we'll ship fresh right on up until we finish the fields. And then when we finish the fields, we'll turn right back around and start taking back out of storage. And we'll run storage all the way through the summer.
Okay. But once summer's done, no more Vidalia onions until the spring.
And actually, this crop is short this year. We don't have as many acres as planted. Okay. And we also have had we had some very cold weather during Christmas this year.
Oh yeah.
It caused us to lose some plants.
Right.
In other words, we got our stand is not as good as it normally is. So we're about 35% off of the total production of what we would normally have down here.
Oh no, that's not good.
That would put it to where they will end earlier this year than normal. So we very well could run out of Vidalias by mid-July this year.
Well, that was brutal that Christmas week. I remember here we didn't get out of the teens, so I imagine you were not much warmer than that. So when do you plant them then? You plant them in the wintertime?
You actually sow the seed. The seed is sown in September.
Okay.
And then you sow the seed in a seed bed is what we call it.
Okay.
And then when the seed sprouts and comes up with the little onion plants, you transplant that onion plant out of the seed bed and starting in November.
Okay.
We do November and first half of December. Normally we transplant by hand and plant all the onions out.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We actually put like 87,000 plants per acre.
87,000 plants per acre.
Yes.
And so one plant yields one onion.
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting.
And how do you grade them?
Well, you bring them into the packing shed when you grade them.
So is that so is that before or after they get through the dryer?
After they come through the dryer.
Yeah.
Then so it's based on size, diameter?
Yeah, it's both. It's based on size, diameter, as far as the size of it, and then it's also based on the quality of it, or whether you pick the very best ones that you have for go to the grocery stores.
Oh, fantastic. So, are they still most popular in the South, or has it? I know they're popular everywhere now, but yeah,
it's everywhere now.
Yeah.
I mean, we ship a lot of onions even to West Coast. I mean, to California, everywhere. And then Phoenix is big for us. I mean, it's all over.
Right.
The consumption per household is as much. I read somewhere a couple of years ago, the consumption per household in the Northeast is just as much as it is in Atlanta.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising. I mean, onion goes in everything.
Yes. And what's so unique about this Vidalia is you can do everything with it that you can do with a regular staple onion. I mean, a hot onion, what we call it, a globe type onion.
Yep.
But you can do so much more with this than you can that. In other words, you can eat this onion raw.
Right. And I have done that before.
Yeah. And the difference between Vidalias is they only make you cry when they're gone.
Yeah.
They only make what? Say that again?
That was great. That's great. Say it again.
They only make you cry when they're gone.
Oh, well done. Yeah.
Actually, that's a trademark slogan of ours that we put on every box that we ship.
Oh, that's great.
They only make you cry when they're gone on the bottom of it.
Well done.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Another big deal for us is our phone number is 1-800-Vidalia.
Oh, that's a coup right there. Great.
Yeah.
Good job.
That was smart.
Yeah.
What's your email address?
Well, I don't know about the email. I don't think we got the email, but we definitely got the phone number.
Yeah, that's great. You guys were very progressive. You were way ahead of Amazon, shipping things through the mail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
how do you choose an onion? Because they're always soft when I get them.
How do you choose an onion?
Yeah, at store level.
Well, normally a Vidalia, the difference between the Vidalia is it's more of a flatter onion, and it's a globe. It's more the flattered onion is usually the sweeter it is.
Yeah, but they've had to have your competitors have had to taken that root stock or the seeds and taken it somewhere else, because I work for a purveyor, and I remember like one of the girls in the office like, oh, they're Vidalias. And I'm like, it couldn't be Vidalias. It was like the wrong time of year.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, they're coming from Peru. And I'm like, then I guess they aren't Vidalias. So it's just become like a Kleenex. So it's become that kind of word.
You know, really, it's amazing that you mentioned Peru, but that's one thing we have done. Actually, that's the same variety of seed now that we grow in Peru as we grow in Vidalia.
Oh,
believe it or not, the taste of a Vidalia and a Peru onion is almost identical.
Interesting.
You just can't call it a Vidalia because it's not grown in this region.
Right.
But we actually do a lot of. Some years we'll do more onions out of Peru than we bill out of Vidalia.
Mm.
Okay, and what is their fresh season?
Peru's fresh season runs from August all the way back around to February.
Yeah, it's opposite.
So then the stuff that I have at retail is like the leftover tired old onions, correct? Because you're going to just start shipping today.
Yeah, but what you're buying at retail, I don't have no idea where you're buying them at. But normally, like for example, we've been shipping onions out of Mexico and Texas up until last week, and we'll start with Vidalias today. So,
okay. So you said the same variety you grow in Vidalia is grown in Peru. Is that also true from Mexico and Texas?
No,
Okay.
that's a different variety in Mexico and Texas, but the ones in Peru is the same variety.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you use the same variety everywhere?
The climate sometimes don't agree with the particular variety. So
Okay.
Mexico is, we do a few of those Vidalias in Mexico, well, the Vidalia type onion in Mexico, but we don't do a tremendous amount because the globe onion, the flatter onion, don't yield as good per acre.
Oh.
So it's hard to get the farmers to grow them in Mexico because they want to do the globe type onion, which they'll have a lot more yield per acre.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, what about, how does the Vidalia and the Peru onion compare to other regions? There are some other places like Hawaii and Walla Walla. How do those compare to you?
Well, actually, Walla Walla is only just a small amount of onions. It's has a good name and it's a good onion, but it's only a very, very small amount.
Right.
In other words, there's less than 700 acres of them last time I checked, and one out of Hawaii is even smaller. I mean, it's not just a spot.
Right. But as far as flavor, the Vidalia is superior, in my opinion. I've tried them all, and the Vidalia is superior. But
well, naturally, I feel like the Vidalia is, because down here in what the saying goes, they even know Mama got an ugly baby.
Ain't no mama got an ugly baby. That's good. We feel that the Vidalia is superior. There's no doubt. In my mind it is, and that's objective. I've tried them.
Good.
Tried them, and I believe that's true. They are delicious, but so
I want to ask Delbert one thing about the Vidalias. You can't call them Vidalias until the release date, but some retailers sell the green Vidalia onions with the top sign and call them Vidalia. Is that legal for them to do?
Yeah,
that?
you can.
You can.
Okay. Can't see it very well, but I got one right here.
Yeah.
That's,
so why are they allowed to call them Vidalias? Because they're a Vidalia green onion, or?
Yeah, there's a Vidalia green onion. It's pulled up out of the field before we start harvesting.
Okay.
And are they sweeter? They're sweeter when the green is sweeter? Oh, wow.
Yeah, the green is pretty sweet. It's does pretty good. You can cook the top and the bulb on that.
And how would you cook that? How would you cook a green onion? Stir fry it. Oh yeah, that would be good.
Do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they stew them, whatever. But
what about baking them? Probably baking the tops probably wouldn't be that great baked, but the bottom.
I don't know. I'm sure they probably come out. I don't cook that much. So,
okay. Yeah, well, I know your website has some great recipes on there. So I want to tell our listeners to check out blandfarms.com. Is that correct? Blandfarms.com.
Yes.
Go to that website. You'll read the story of his family, which is very interesting. They've got some great recipes there. You'll see all about their company and how responsible they are, sustainability and all of that. Tell us more about your family. I know that you've got the next generation is coming along. Your second generation, correct, on the Bland Farms?
Yes.
And I saw some beautiful pictures of the next generation. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, I have two sons and a daughter. Great. My two sons are involved in the business. My middle son is actually CEO of the company now.
Oh, okay.
And
did he fire you? Did he kick you out and fire you? No,
no, not yet. I'm still around. They still keep me around a little bit. But I actually have 9 grandkids.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So we got a house full.
Yep, and you got them all working on the farm.
Yeah, pretty well.
Is that spread out 3 each?
Yeah, actually, my two sons have 4 each, and my daughter has 1.
Oh,
that's great.
Yeah, my middle son just had. He's got 2 sets of twins. And they're 5 and 4.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
And they were with us all weekend, and I'm gonna tell you what, they will wear you out by the time.
Yeah, I was going
I
to
always say that, like, boys, and if you have 4 little boys, that's a terrorist cell.
Actually, we got he's got 3 girls and a boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So one set of twins was a boy and a girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
older one, the 5-year-olds, they'll be 5 next month. They actually is a boy and a girl.
Okay.
And
And so then she only has to be pregnant, like she's done now, right? 4 kids.
yeah, I'd say
That's a
she's
good
done.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Efficient.
she told me, my daughter-in-law, she's a nut. She said, I got an heir and a spare.
Yeah. Exactly, right?
When she found out she was pregnant and she had 2, so she said, go ahead and have 2 where she'd have a backup in case we needed another one.
Oh, that's great.
And her name's Princess what?
Princess Onion.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well,
has anyone named their daughter Vidalia?
Actually, no, but they've been a song about it.
Yeah.
Sammy Kershaw did a song a while back, Vidalia. It was good. We've had a restaurant named Vidalia in Washington, D.C. for a while there.
Wow.
It done very well.
Yeah.
So,
I just can't believe that not one Georgia grower has named his daughter Vidalia.
That's true. I guess that's true.
It's trademarked, Rick. They can. It's trademarked.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. Yeah.
So anyway, well, speaking of country music, I believe you've got a big event coming up with a country music star. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we have a promotion right now going with Billy Currington. He's actually a friend of ours. He put on a free concert the other day in Orlando at the produce show, but we're actually featuring him right now with his recipes on our packaging. So
he's got recipes. He likes to cook.
Yes, we're giving away tickets to where he's performing at this summer too.
Oh, okay. So there's another reason, listeners, go check out Bland Farms. You can also order onions from them there on that website, right, Delbert?
Yes. If you want
so you know, if you don't have them yet in your stores,
that's the answer for me. Then I can go right back to the source, going, I got problems in my onions.
There you go.
Delbert's onions are good, Cynthia.
Oh yeah.
They see me coming in my produce department, and they're like,
oh no, there she is.
Yeah, there she is. Here she comes. Oh shit.
Well, back to family farms. What are the challenges family farms are facing, and do you think the future is optimistic, or are we in trouble?
No, I think the future is optimistic when you look at it. I feel like that people are going to continuously eat. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
And for example, when COVID hit, it was a disaster, but in reality, our business doubled overnight because we sell everything to the grocery stores.
Right.
And people quit going out to eat and they started cooking at home more. So it really took off. Our business really took off.
Well, that's good to hear.
And I think overall, the biggest concern we have probably going forward is labor is always a continuous challenge.
Yeah.
That's issues that we have, and the rules and regulations that involved with that is very strenuous. But generally speaking, it's the normal stuff, and that's the weather.
Right.
It's always a challenge. So anytime you grow a crop in South Georgia, you got to deal with all kind of weather conditions.
Right. Yeah, that's something you can't control.
Yes, in general speaking, it's about that's the biggest thing is the weather.
Yeah, right.
So can I go back to your company grows down in Peru?
Oh yeah.
So you're year round everywhere that you source them?
Every day of the year.
And only sweet onions? What else do you grow?
Yeah, we always do sweet onions. We do sweet potatoes too, but sweet onions is what we do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we grow sweet potatoes here in Georgia and in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And
That's where Rick, Teresa, and I don't know if I didn't really introduce you, but Teresa is Rick and my sister.
Okay.
And we grew up, my dad grew apples in Western North Carolina and vegetables. He never grew onions that I remember, but he grew, what we call truck farming, cabbage and cucumbers and tomatoes.
Right.
And he had a big packing house here in North Carolina and shipped all over the world. So we all grew up in the similar environment that you did. We didn't have a farm per se, but he leased land mostly to grow and pack.
That's what we do a lot of too.
Yeah. I enjoyed reading on your website that you, as a young boy, would sit and watch the trucks, the tractor and trailers come into the packing house and load up and ship. That was me too. I remember I wanted to be a truck driver when I was a kid because I just thought those were so cool.
Yeah.
Where in North Carolina do you grow sweet potatoes?
It's on the eastern part around Rocky Mountain, North Carolina.
Oh yeah. Got it.
There's a lot of sweet potatoes grown in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think we're number one, aren't we? North Carolina is number one. Maybe Louisiana. I don't know. I think Louisiana's the next.
I think it ain't even close.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Well, North Carolina's way ahead of everybody on the amount of acres as they grow there.
Right. And that's been identified as a superfood. I'm sure that's helped your business a lot in the last few years. They've really taken off.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even a holiday item anymore. It's
every day.
Yeah, hardware.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, what about the health benefits of onions? Do you have any particular things that onions are good for?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, onions are good for you. It's good for your heart, from what they tell me too. So, but I was just reading a while back. We had an article that was talking about if you cut an onion in two and put it in your house, and it'll absorb all the bacteria around it.
Oh, wow! That's fantastic.
Like, put it where in your house?
Well, I mean, in your bedroom. It'll absorb all the germs, a lot of germs and stuff in your room.
And how often would you switch it out?
I have no idea.
When it starts stinking. You can put one under your pillow, Cynthia.
You better make sure it's a Vidalia you put in there, though, unless you don't want to be run out, because some of those onions, you cut them in two, they will bring tears to your eyes. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, and I think I've read that the onion is the oldest vegetable known to man. They were one of the, if not the first, I think they were, well, they don't know for certain, right? There's different opinions, but it was definitely one of the very first. And the Egyptians, the onion was a symbol for the pharaoh in their hieroglyphics. When you see an onion in Egyptian hieroglyphics, that symbolizes the pharaoh. So little trivia.
Yep.
I'm a history nerd, so I find these meaningless, useless facts. But
well, no, this fact is meaningful.
Yeah, I think it is. They really felt the onion was very special, the Egyptians. So, anyway, you do some other products with Vidalia onions. I read some frozen products.
Yeah.
What other products do you produce?
Do condiments. We do condiments and actually a Vidalia onion straw. It's like a yum type deal.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Straw, we do a lot of those. And then
what?
It's like a yum chip. It's an onion straw is what we call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's like a snack food.
Right.
Is it a dried onion or is it mixed into some other product?
It's mixed into well, it's got onion flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's put on it's sprinkled all over the chips, and it's like a chip. It's fluffy.
Right.
Okay.
It's like a Cheeto or something, but with onion flavor. Yeah.
Texture of a Cheeto.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What? Speaking of frozen onions, if I wanted to buy a bunch of Vidalias while they're in season, will they do well freezing them for the rest of the year, or would you recommend that? Okay.
Actually, what I would do is take them and chop them up, and they would keep for a year, up to a year frozen.
Okay, that's good to know.
Wanted to keep them you wanted to store them like through the summer. The best way to store them is wrap each one of them up in a newspaper.
Oh, okay.
And put them in the bottom of your refrigerator in the vegetable bin, and keep very good that way.
Okay. And how?
Kind of like that newspaper absorbs some moisture around them.
Right.
And then that cool area of the refrigerator there helps maintain the shelf life.
Excellent. And then how long will that extend the shelf life? Do you have an idea?
From right on through till next fall.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah. Now, about the size of the onions, the size doesn't matter on how sweet they are, I take it, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was a question I had about that, but that's good. Well, this has been fun. Do you, any of my other produce buzzers have more questions for Delbert?
I'd like to ask Delbert, what is your favorite way to eat a Vidalia onion?
Probably off of the grill, or in the microwave. We got a little plastic cooker you can put them in.
Did you say microwave?
Yeah. Put them in the microwave and bake them.
Yeah. Cool.
Put a little bit of water in there.
No, there's plenty of water already. They've got a lot of water content.
We're laughing because Rick loves to microwave stuff, and he's always got some recipe with a microwave, and we kid him about it. So this is great.
Well, you put a Vidalia onion in there and core out the top of it, and put a little bit of bouillon cube in there or butter.
Oh, wow.
And put it in the microwave for like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
That does sound great.
It'd be like French onion soup.
Bouillon, would you use beef or chicken or either one, I guess, right?
Yeah, either one.
Yeah. And a little butter.
I've got a tip too that Delbert may already know this, but I kind of figured out on my own. If you get an onion that's too strong and you want to eat it fresh, I just slice them up and put them on a plate, put them in the microwave for about 15 to 30 seconds. And it draws a lot of that strength out of them.
Yeah.
It's a little sweeter, but they still taste like they're a fresh onion. They don't taste like they're cooked.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But I've got a potato. I got a plastic container that bakes potatoes in the microwave. And I've put onions in there and they're really good. But do you actually sell a device through your company?
Yeah. We sell onion cookers is what they are. A little plastic top and bottom. It's shaped like an onion.
Yeah.
And you open it up and put the onion in there.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
And that's on your website also?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
What about that Vidalia onion chopper that was marketed for quite a while, and now that it's hard to find them? Do you remember that?
You talking about when you say chopper, you talking about for the blooming onion kit?
No, it was like a rectangular box that had different little grids in it, and you can put not just onions but other vegetables in there and chop them. And it makes making a salad really fast, or making a salsa.
Right.
But
it was marketed as a Vidalia onion chopper.
It was called the Vidalia onion chopper. Yes.
Well, it wasn't us. I don't know where that would come from. Actually, I'm not familiar with it. But a lot of people tired of Vidalia naming the stuff to sell it.
Right. Yeah, I wonder if that could have been through do you have a Vidalia Onion Commission or a board or something?
Yes, it's a federal marketing order, has the board that governs the federal marketing order.
Got it. And go ahead.
Well, they don't do any sales.
Oh, okay. But they had a booth at the Southeast Produce Council, and I went by there, and they had a beautiful bag and a cutting board. It was a bag that was insulated, And man, I love that. And I use the cutting board every day. It's so good. But I don't know. They probably don't sell those. It was probably just a giveaway to customers.
Yeah.
It's a great little piece. All right. Any more questions or thoughts for Delbert?
I do have a homegrown.
Oh, okay. I'll have to tell Delbert about this. Now, Teresa, we have a segment on Produce Buzz every time called Homegrown. And we have this segment because Teresa loves puns. And she brings out a pun every episode to try to make us laugh, but they're never funny. So we groan at them. That's why we call it home. So she's going to tell us a pun. We try to guess the answer before she gives the answer, which we rarely do. So let's see what she's got. I'm going to introduce it, and then we'll hear the pun. So, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, it's time for your favorite segment on the Produce Buzzers podcast. Yes, it's time for Homegrown. No, don't run away. Don't turn the sound down. You have to stay through and listen to this pun from Teresa. Teresa, what is our Homegrown of the day?
It's a question. Where does Mr. Potato Head like to go with his friend Vidalia Onion to hang out?
Okay, let me repeat it. Where does Mr. Potato Head go with his friend Vidalia Onion to hang out? Okay. Rick, come on. You gotta have an answer.
I'm thinking.
Cynthia? No guess. Delbert, do you have any idea? Have you not heard this one?
No, I hadn't heard it, but I'd assume it'd be the pantry.
That's well done.
That's
yes,
good.
very good.
Yep, that's where they're found, I guess. Except Vidalias are supposed to go in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Teresa, come on. Punish us now.
So where does Mr. Potato Head like to go with his friend Vidalia Onion to hang out? The salad bar.
Terrible. Sorry, Delbert, but we
sorry, exactly.
subjected you to that. But anyway, you're a good sport. Well, listen, it's been so much fun. I really appreciate you taking the time and such a busy day and time for you and other things going on. So congratulations on your great success there, building that company. What a wonderful legacy and the great service to people. So
we've been blessed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Delbert. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye.
luck. Bye-bye. Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Produce Buzzers podcast, brought to you by Produce Buzz, the gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies. We hope you were entertained a bit and educated a lot about fresh produce. Be sure to join us next time, and please tell your friends to do so as well. Like, share, and comment on our Produce Buzz Facebook page, and check out our website at www.producebuzz.com. There you will find articles about fresh fruits and veggies, how to select, store, and prepare them, as well as lots of interesting facts about all the wonderful bounty the earth provides for us. Until next time, be fruitful and don't forget to veg out.